Rick, another top 5 show today, mate.
I'm looking forward to it.
I know, this is a big one, as it said in the title. We're doing the top 5 worst superhero films of the 2000s. So the last 20 years, some of the worst piece of crap superhero films that we've seen. And remember, the rules of the game are, it's not about what everybody thinks. It's not about how much box office it made or it didn't make or critical reviews, or even it's about how we felt about it.
That's right.
It's our feelings on those movies. So I'm going to kick it off today, mate, and go with my number 5 worst superhero films I've seen in the last 20 years. And that is 2017's Justice League. Justice League, which is big currently in time of filming, is huge news because, and we'll talk about that after this actually, Justice League 2017 promised so much. You know, Man of Steel, which I was a big fan of, I really liked it, even though some people didn't. And I really liked a decent amount of Batman v Superman. Not everything, I had some problems, obviously Martha and all that, but I didn't hate the film. So I was kind of had hope that Justice League would be that next, the film that would bring it all together. And it wasn't. It was pretty bad in my mind. I remember being pretty angry, upset, disappointed when I come out of the cinema and seeing this, because you had all the ingredients there. You know, you had everything there. I mean, Wonder Woman had come out previously, and that was a good film.
Great movie.
You know what I mean? And it just, I don't know, just nothing worked about it. It was so hodgepodge. I mean, we all know what the reasons are behind why it was so choppy and weird and didn't make sense, and the CGI was bad. And that's obviously, you know, you can Google why that happened. And obviously the big news is that's come over just as time of filming is Justice League is now being the Snyder Cut's coming out next year. And everyone's on board. Everybody's coming back to film extra scenes for the film. Darkseid will be the villain. We'll get to see Darkseid in this version. So it's going to be completely...
We hope it'll be better.
This has never happened in the history of cinema.
No.
So this is huge.
No way.
Huge. And we will talk about more about that in the next midweek show. But Justice League, for me, number 5 worst superhero film I've seen in the last 20 years. Rick, what's your number 5?
Yeah, well, to speak on Justice League, that is actually on my list, Jace, as well.
That is on your list?
But
okay, we'll get to that.
But it's not number 5.
Okay, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is 2011's Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
Oh, the sequel.
The sequel to the first, obviously,
to the Ghost Rider.
Now, this was a bit hard because they're both really not great movies at all. I kind of preferred it a little bit more better than, obviously, the first one. It was alright, but this one was just what they should have even made this movie. I don't understand why they even made this movie as a sequel. Nicolas Cage in this was just woeful. His acting was just terrible in this. He just didn't want to perform in this movie. I don't think he even wanted to be in this movie, to be honest with you. And the CGI in this movie was just terrible. Like, they could have made him a lot better as you know, a human going to a skeleton. It just would have been a lot better. But for me, this movie as a sequel shouldn't have even been made. It was just woeful. So,
and that's your number 5 worst superhero.
Yep.
Okay, alright. Well, let's move on to number 4, guys. Number 4 for me was, in fact, this whole series I was never a big fan of, this particular interpretation of the character. But I'm going to move to 2014, Rick, with The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh!
The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is a film, like, I'd seen the first Amazing Spider-Man, and I wasn't completely in love with it. I just like, they just really told the same story again, like as for the first one. And the sequel, again, promised to be something good. It actually produced some really cool trailers, I remember, around the time. But when you saw the film, oh my God, that film was a mess. I mean, it was a hodgepodge. And Jamie Foxx hamming it up like he's in a Batman and Robin. Like, doing his performance was awful. The chemistry that they had going for him with Emma Stone and, what's his face? Garfield was great in the first one, but it was completely gone in the second one. What should have been a very powerful moment, seeing her die, when she hits her head, really was nothing. The whole film was just ridiculous. And Paul Giamatti doing the worst Russian accent, playing that little rhino.
I don't even know why. There's The problem with that
Too many
movie
characters.
is there's too many villains.
They were setting up for
Too
a
many.
film. They were setting up for a Sinister Six film, and they weren't concentrating on what they were making at the time. It is a real mess. And again, I'm basing my top 5 is based on how those movies, how I felt about them. And I just remember going, they are killing Spider-Man. Spider-Man is toast now. You know, how do you make another Spider-Man
film? That movie
film?
killed it.
They did, and I didn't think we were going to get
good.
Spider-Man back again.
No.
I mean, I thought eventually Sony would have another crack, and obviously history now tells us that Marvel saved the day. But this Amazing Spider-Man 2 is probably the reason we got a Marvel version of Spider-Man.
So you get thankful for that one.
But I mean, like, it was terrible. I mean, you had really good quality actors, even like, you know, the kid who ended up playing Green Goblin. I can't even remember his name, but he was great in. Man, I've gone blank on the kid's name anyway. He's a great actor. He's been in a lot of wonderful independent films. Even he was horrible in it. So, big for me. That's my number 4, mate.
Well, speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, yeah,
your number
my 4 is Amazing Spider-Man.
Is the first one?
This is the first one, 2012.
Wow.
Look, me and Jake, we saw this movie together. Like, we see all our movies together, and
Especially in this genre.
especially, yeah, definitely in this genre. And you nailed it. It was correct. This is just an origin story. When I walked out of the cinema, I was like, I've already seen this.
Yeah, I know
just
Uncle
saw
Ben
this
is
movie.
dead.
Yeah, like, how many times can you portray that Uncle Ben? Ben is dead. Do we
Yeah.
really need it? And it was just so poorly done. And you're right, the only good thing about this whole movie was the chemistry between the two. That was it. The rest of the movie, you could just wipe your hands off. Like, well, what's the point, really? I didn't even think they were going to make another one. Why even set it up? Because, you know, obviously it got poor reviews and so forth as well. But it just, yeah, to me, I just didn't like it. And
It's such a franchise that really not a lot of people even think about these days.
No.
I mean, both those films are forgettable, aren't they?
Yeah, it is.
The only reason it brought up memories is because we went through our list and gone, well,
When did we actually look at it? When was the last time we actually watched this movie?
I can't tell you either of them.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, either
It's
of them.
not
Obviously,
something
when
that-
they come out. You know?
Yeah, it's not
But let's be fair. I'm someone who watches them 2, 3, 4 times before.
Yeah, but I
make a final
tried.
decision.
Like, don't get me wrong. I tried to watch like these movies and think, yeah, it's going to be good, but it wasn't. So yeah, that's my number 4, mate.
Let's move on to number 3, Rick. All right, my number 3 is it's one of the, and this one could have easily been number 1 or number 2, but it's up there for me because and a movie that promised so much, and especially back in 2009, we'd come off X-Men: The Last Stand, which was a bit, it was okay, and then we got X-Men Origins Wolverine, mate.
Come on,
A movie that should have been amazing. You got Hugh Jackman, you got Liev Schreiber, you got Ryan Reynolds doing his first iteration of Deadpool. You've got you've got a great cast of characters in here and a concept. I love the idea of, and the opening credit sequence is the best thing in the whole movie, is seeing the brothers go through time.
Yeah,
But it's the whole origin that he was a kid in colonial times, and I don't know, it just never worked for me. And obviously the finale with, and the biggest crime of all was sewing up Deadpool's mouth when he is the merc with the mouth. And just like Amazing Spider-Man 2, this film actually helped create Deadpool.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the failure of this film, we wouldn't have Deadpool.
That's right.
But yeah, there's not a lot. The CG in this was really bad too. Like there are moments when he's in the claws, and you can see the CGI claws slightly wobble.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's kind of going on. And this movie was infamous because remember it got leaked online about a month before.
Yeah, well, I think I saw that.
And it wasn't all finished effects, but
no, you could get
the majority of the movie was there. So, no, it's a horrible movie. It doesn't stand up. The plot doesn't make sense. The characters are ho-hum. It doesn't seem to fit into X-Men continuity so well, but who am I to say anything? Because X-Men continuity is all over the place. So that's my number 3,
Number
mate.
3.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. What's yours, mate?
2011's Thor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Rick.
I know I'm going to get backlash
This
for
is a big call in my book, but go.
I remember going seeing this movie, right? I wanted such big hopes for this because obviously, the whole MCU and everything fits into it and so well. When I saw that movie, there was just certain scenes which just I could not get past, and it just shit me.
Yeah.
All right, the way it was filmed, like in that whole little country, little town, and then it just reminded me of that the whole fight scene, and then that you could see like the buildings, and it just reminded me of those old Western movies. Like it would just be like a board,
a fascia with a couple of beams.
That's what it was, and that's what it reminded me of. And it was just, I just did not like this movie when I came out of the cinemas. I was just very disappointed.
And that's a big call out of all the superhero films. You've actually gone to the well where they are held up as the great comic book hero, and that's Marvel films.
Don't get me wrong. And it's just, I
don't disagree with a lot of things you're saying.
There was just, and then obviously chemistry between the two as well. Chris Hemsworth and and all the other characters as well. I just did not feel it for me. It just didn't. Don't get me wrong. It had some good bits to it, but there was just leaving the cinema, I was just disappointed.
Just disappointed. So at that time, that's pre-Avengers too, mate. Yeah. So you must have been thinking, because Thor come out and then Captain America and then Avengers. At that point, you must have thought, "Oof, this is not looking good."
No, not at all.
Not looking good. Yeah.
It's just but that's
there you go, Thor, mate. I'd almost say Thor: The Dark World. I didn't like.
That was close. That was you can combine the two.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, Jace.
Move on to number 2. This could have been easily number 1.
Yeah.
Easily number 1. So it has to be said. It has to be out there. Ryan Reynolds, if he was here, he'd jump in and tell you right now, I'm talking 2011 Green Lantern. Now, a film that I don't know how many people were really asking for in the first. I remember seeing the first trailer and going, this is very Star Wars prequel looking. A lot of CGI characters in space. It doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna hold out breath to go see it at the movie. And then what do we get? Poo Cloud.
Yep.
We get a film that is just tonally off completely. Actually, some of the best things in this movie were the scenes in space with all the CG characters were not bad. But the movie was just bad villains, bad performance. Blake Lively was horrible in it. Sorry, Ryan, I know she's your wife, but she was awful in it. There's just not a lot that works. And Ryan Reynolds just doesn't have the opportunity in this film to be Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he's not. No.
He's not. This is a movie for the paycheck, and it feels like it, And I was really disappointed because the director of this film, which is Martin Campbell, made my favourite Bond movie of all time, which was Casino Royale. Mm-hmm. It's my favourite Bond movie of all time. He's also made my second favourite Bond movie of all time, which was GoldenEye. So he's a good director. Just made a horrible film. I don't know if this is one of those films that just got caught up in execs just putting their fingers in where they shouldn't,
I don't know what the budget was on it, but
it was a big budget. It was a huge budget. I think it was $200 million budget.
Where but you only see that in the movie. Like, where do they spend all that money?
Yeah, I think a lot of it went to CG back then, because CG was super, super expensive around that time. Look, a movie that didn't work. I mean, it had Mark Strong, he was good in it, playing the villain. Oh, mate, I'm struggling to find anything good about it. That's why it's my number 2
That's his number
on the
2.
top 5 worst superhero films of the 2000s. Dude, what's your number 2?
Justice League, Jason.
Yes, Justice League.
I know you discuss it in your top 5, but this is my number 2 for me. Mm-hmm. Just for me, I mean, Jace covered most of it, and we're pretty much on the same page with this.
Well, we saw it together.
It was. I had high hopes for this movie because we had Avengers, we had all that, and we're like, yeah, cool. DC really needs a win here. They just didn't get it with this movie. The chemistry of the whole team just did not gel for me.
It's all over the place.
There was that's right. No one really stood out. I mean, Wonder Woman was fantastic. I had an issue with Batman. I really did. Affleck playing Batman. I just had that issue with him playing it.
The character in full, so that goes over to Batman.
I had the issue with him, and it just didn't. The movie didn't gel for me either. And then some of it just felt like they were just trying too hard. And the CG was terrible, as we all know. That was terrible. But that's my that's my number 2.
Well, the CG was unfinished. They tried to do the quips.
They rushed it
back and forth that they do in the Avengers movies between the characters, and they couldn't do it in Justice League. Because you got Zack Snyder who set up this very dark universe. It takes itself very seriously, and even though it falls over in parts in Batman v Superman, but they really shifted the tone of Justice League, mate.
They did.
Justified for having that number 2 for sure.
Definitely
but
number 2.
let's move on to
number one.
My number 1
We're the same
worst superhero film of the last 20 years.
Are we on the same page?
I don't know, but mine's 2015's Fantastic Four.
Ah!
2015 Holy moly! Rick just let it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done, mate. Well done. It is.
There it is.
Both of us thinking it's 2015's Fantastic Four. Now, Rick,
Wow.
Josh Trank, great little new director, done a little kind of popular couple of indie films. They give him Fantastic Four, and he comes out and he says, "I'm going to make a David Cronenberg horror type of Fantastic Four." Mate, apparently there were problems on set. The producers came in, they recut this film to a film that makes 0 sense. I mean, the opening scene, dude, you got Miles Teller, who looks like he's almost 30, at a high school science fair.
That's right, yeah.
Nothing feels right about this. And everything just cuts and jars.
Yeah,
you have all this lead up, they go to the negative zone, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a year, 2 years later.
All of a sudden, yeah.
It feels very condensed. It feels like this whole character arcs and scenes missing from this film, which we know to be correct. But dude, were we disappointed at this film? I was like, what the fuck is this? This is worse than any CW superhero film. The worst ones, It was just... I didn't have a problem with the cast, who they actually cast. But it just didn't gel together.
Dr. Doom was terrible. He was just...
As an interpretation of the character.
And then it seems like, he had his power, which he could have just killed them straight away. He killed everyone else like that.
Dr. Doom, as a character in the comic books, doesn't shoot effing lightning out of his hands, No. They've never got Dr. Doom character right.
I think because we had those other Fantastic Four movies, which the Silver Surfer and the other Fantastic Four, which was
look, they're very cheesy.
Yeah.
I'd actually considered them in the list and went, you know what? They're not horrible films. No, they're just very television show kind of family orientated.
That's right. And then when we found out, Fantastic Four's coming out, they're rebooting it. Oh, this is great. We're awesome. 2015. This is going to be great. But I was like, to be honest with you, halfway through, I was bored. Halfway through the movie, I just zoned out.
Well, I zoned out too because it couldn't make sense of the plot.
No, it was just fucking back and forth and too many of this, and I just and the casting for me wasn't really I don't know.
Michael B. Jordan is an incredible actor.
He's fantastic.
Didn't feel right.
But Miles Teller didn't really.
Miles Teller didn't really kind of grab.
No.
Everything. Kate Mara, was it? It was Kate Mara there. I don't know, mate.
It was a train wreck.
I'm not. Yeah, Jamie Bell, who I wouldn't have thought they would have cast as the Thing. I did like the idea of making the Thing CG. That was the first time. But they still didn't get it right.
No.
So, I mean, and which is amazing. Why was it so hard? Because 2 years later, we get a rock creature in Korg who looked amazing.
That's right. So what has changed? That's right.
It's just because people get involved in things that they shouldn't. Now, thankfully, we all know now, Fantastic Four is back in the hands of Marvel.
God.
It looks like it's very close that John Krasinski's going to be playing, Mr. Fantastic, and Emily Blunt will be playing Sue Storm. There's a lot of hope for the future of Fantastic Four, but this is the lowest point. And honestly, I was so dismayed and confused by this film. I mean, disgusted, and I haven't watched it again.
No.
But absolutely, I'm very confident.
Actually,
very confident that Fantastic Four is the worst superhero film I've seen in the last 20 years.
Oh, I totally agree. This actually popped up on Disney Plus, and I was going through it, and I'm like, I just can't do it.
Mind you, though, I recently watched Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer on Disney Plus, and watched them for what they were.
Yeah.
And was like, there are bits in this that work really well, and they're like, the chemistry between the Thing and Johnny Storm was excellent in those films.
Yeah.
I liked their banter.
It
was just the film was very cheap in a way, but at least Dr. Doom was closer to the comic book character that was in,
this.
Oh, mate.
Reboot was terrible.
Absolute horrible film. But there it is, guys.
There you go.
That is our top 5 worst superhero film in the last 20 years. But obviously, we want to know what you think. what are your top 5 worst superhero films of the last 20 years? And there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah,
and Rick, how do these guys talk about what we talked about, and how do they talk about what they think is crap?
Guys, all you need to do is give us a comment down below for the video. Also, give us one of these, a thumbs up. We'd really, really appreciate it. If you've subscribed to our channel, thank you so much for your support. If you haven't, just hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the notification bell and just follow us all on our social media sites.
All right, guys, and the next show to release it will be top 5 raunchy comedies of all time.
Ooh.
So we'll catch up for that in a couple of weeks.
See you guys.